Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. This is a little bit of an experiment for me. The first time I've done this, but as I think I said on the post, I had an idea last week, and I like saying Minuet Construction Set. It's kind of a fun thing to say. So anyway, Minuet Construction Set. Today I thought we would hang out and write minuets. I will apologize in advance. I am new to this technology, so I'm assuming everybody can see and hear me. If for some reason you can't, let me know in chat. I think there's about a 30-second delay, but we'll get it all figured out. All right, step one. Gosh, I think the first thing we need to do is figure out what we're going to do in terms of rhythm. One of the things I do with my students, I have these cards and I pose them a question. I say, how many ways can you build a rhythm in 3/4 time using only eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, and dotted half notes? It's a useful little puzzle game. I have cards, and we'll use the cards to kind of tease this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of lay these out. So the first way that you can do a rhythm in 3/4 time is just with a dotted half note. Dotted half notes are popular. People use them a lot. I like them. That is the only way to use a dotted half note in 3/4 time, one full measure. And then the question becomes, how many ways can you use a half note in 3/4 time? Let's see, a half note, you need another beat. So you could do a half note and a quarter note. Or you could do a quarter note and a half note. If you're following along and want to write some minuets today, feel free to take notes and write some of these things down. All right, so we have a dotted half note, quarter note, half note. We could also build a rhythm with just quarter notes, actually, right? So we could just have a measure with 3 quarter notes in it. So after that, we need to use some eighth notes. Eighth notes we could do in a couple of different ways. You could put, we're going to do eighth note pairs today. If we used a single eighth note, we'd have to deal with dotted quarters or something, or rests. And we're not using any rests or dotted quarter notes. We're going to keep it pretty simple. Anyway, we could put the eighth notes there. We could have eighth notes in the middle. We could have eighth notes at the end. We could have 2 pairs of eighth notes and put the quarter note at the beginning. We could put the quarter note in the middle. We could put the quarter note at the end. And then, of course, we could have 3 pairs of eighth notes. And I'm pretty sure that's like 100% of the ways that you can build a rhythm in 3/4, one measure of 3/4 time, using just dotted halves, quarters, halves, and eighths. That's going to give us kind of the vocabulary of what we're going to play around with today. So anyway, let me put these up for a second. And the next thing I want to do is just get an idea of, like, get the groove of a minuet in our ears. I don't want to talk too much about the history of the minuet or style characteristics. It's a Baroque court dance. It's in 3/4 time. It's got kind of a medium tempo. But I think the best way to kind of get the groove of a minuet in our heads is to listen to a couple. So I have a couple that we can listen to. Let's see. I think I can bring the score up like that. So the first one, and by the way, all of these actually use those rhythms that I mentioned earlier. They keep pretty, anyway, if it's good enough for Mozart, it's good enough for me. I'll put it that way. This first minuet's by Reinagle. Alexander Reinagle actually moved to the United States. I think he taught like a niece of George Washington or something. Don't quote me on that. My history's a little fuzzy on Reinagle. But anyway, he wrote this collection of teaching pieces. The first 2 are minuets. I'm going to play both of them. Our first minuet's like this. Again, using all those rhythms we talked about earlier. Nice and simple. I always thought that was tuneful and really fun. I teach that one quite a bit. I also teach this one quite a bit. This is the second one from that same collection, and very similar rhythmic and melodic material. Something like that. I think the next one we'll look at, yeah, I had one by James Hook. This one's really clever. It's a little more contrapuntal than Reinigel's. Also in C, goes something like this. Second half. And then the third minuet I thought we'd listen to is Minuet. This one's in F. It's actually by Leopold Mozart, Mozart's dad. Goes something like this. So hopefully that helps us get kind of this idea of minuets in our head. I want to do one more thing before we actually write a minuet. I like to do, I don't know, you know how when you're practicing the piano, people that, practice and learn piano and teach are familiar with this idea of spot practicing, where you take little bits and pieces and kind of work on them to see how to really get it down. We're going to do a little bit the same kind of thing. This is going to be like a little composition exercise. And I love two questions. It's how can I and what if? Those are my two favorite questions to ask myself when I'm writing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to think about those rhythms that we had earlier. Let me get a different page up here for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these rhythms that we looked at earlier, and we're going to see how we can add some pitches into them. So let's see. Let's do 2 to start off with. And let's start off with just a simple rhythm. Let's say we're going to do half note, quarter note. And if we ask ourselves, how can I, for example, get from C to G? And I could do a half note C and then a quarter note G. That's really the only way I can get from C to G is to go up. I guess if I wanted to, I could also start on the high C and then go down. So you could go from that C. So those are the 2 ways that I could do it. Like I said, it's a little bit of an exercise. So what if we took a little bit more of a complex rhythm? Let's see, I'm going to do this one. I just kind of make this up as I go along. It's kind of fun to explore. So what if we did this rhythm? Quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter. And ask ourselves the same question. How could I go from C or G using just quarter notes and eighth notes? I guess one way I could do it is I could go C, E, F, G. I could do it this way. And then, like, it's just kind of fun to brainstorm, like, all of the different ways that you can do this. Because, like, you know, so I did this way, and I did this way. I could also repeat some notes, or even, I don't know, why not? Or I could repeat, like, any other note, right? I could do this one. I could do that. Anyway, so many different ways, and all I've done is just, you know, doing this simple rhythm, quarter note, 2/8, and a quarter note, and we've got all of these different ways to go from C to G. And then like we did with the half note quarter rhythm, what if we were going to turn it around and go from this high C down to this G? And again, if my rhythm is quarter, 2/8 quarter, I could simply go, I could dip below the G and come back up. I could dip way below down the octave maybe. I could do repeated notes. I could do this. I could do, and this gets into the what if question. So like, you know, it's like, what if I like jump to a D? What if I jump to an F? Is it better to go? 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 Ooh, what about that one? I have no idea. So many different options. Anyway, I do this for like hours when I'm writing stuff. I just kind of think about all the different ways I can get from point A to point B. We can go a little bit more complicated with some of these things. Like sometimes I'll design little shapes for myself. Let's run back over here. And so I'll ask myself something like, let's say I'm going to go 2 measures and I'm going to go from C to G and then back to C. Sorry, I'll do it this way so it's a little easier to see. So C to G and back to C. And let's see, let's do, well, the James Hook Minuet, he used nothing but quarter notes. So what if we use nothing but quarter notes? If it's good enough for James Hook, it's good enough for us. So we could do it this way. It's a pretty straightforward, natural way to do it. Skip up to G, skip back down to C. And then of course, what if I repeated a note? What if I repeated this? I could just go, what if I didn't use any E's at all? I know that seems dangerous, right? Doing something in C major and not using any E's? How do we even know it's in major? I don't know. What happens if we don't even, what if we, I don't know. Again, like I said, I just like to brainstorm on this stuff. What if I used different notes? What if I did like this and that? What does that sound like? Well, it definitely doesn't sound, gosh, it doesn't really sound classical. But it does have, I don't know, kind of a contemporary flair to it. So I don't know, maybe that's fine. Anyway, as you can probably tell, I could go on for, I mean, we could do this for like hours. Hours and hours. We won't though. We should probably actually like just write some stuff. I think the easiest way to learn how to do this is just to jump in sometimes. So I think what I'll do is, I don't know, let's just write some stuff. Ding. Let me jump over here. You'll have to excuse me. I haven't used this particular software with dreaming, so you'll apologize if it takes a second. Let's stick with this idea of 3/4 notes. What if I wrote... All right, so there's a beginning of a minuet. And then where do we want to go after that? We're going to do 4 4-bar phrases, just like those other minuets we did. So C and up, G and down. I feel like we need a different note. What if we did, whoops, not that one, that one. What am I about to do? I don't know. What about that? And then you may have noticed in the minuets we did earlier, a lot of this stuff ends up repeating itself a little bit. Excuse me. And to there. All right, so now we've got a little, I don't know, parallel phrase or whatever you call it. Down to C, back up to G, down to C. An exact repeat of that. Some might say that's boring, some might say that's fine. I don't know. Let's see, if we wanted to spice this up a little bit. All right, so music theory moment. I'll talk about music theory, but I'm not going to talk too much. I'll apologize in advance for my looseness with the language. It's been a long time since I was in school. I don't know the current lingo, and I kind of think of things my own way. But there's a general principle of the idea of like some cadences being stronger than others. And so a stronger cadence is going to end on a tonic, and a slightly weaker cadence is going to end on something else. And so what if we made this first one a little bit weaker? So I'm going to turn this into an E instead, and then we have and then it's a little more final, dropping down to the C. Personally, I think that's a little too subtle. I'm going to make it less subtle. Yes, I'm a dog person. They're going to go crazy for a while. We have family in from out of town. All right, so what I've done is I've given myself something a little bit different. We go up to the G, sort of a weak cadence, moving on, and a stronger cadence here, ending on the C. I feel like that's a pretty good beginning for a minuet. So I can go for that. All right, so let's see. What's up next? Well, let's do a third phrase. Third phrases are usually, for lack of a better word, a little more dramatic than the first two. So the first two, it's, minuets I like because a lot of them are in like rounded binary form, and they're like little miniature sonatas. So we get like a thing, and then we get something a little more dramatic, and then we go back to the original thing. So it's a really nice way to sort of tell a story in music. So we're going to do this. Let's see. We went up and sort of down, and then we went up and then up a little bit and down. I feel like that's an awful lot of up and down, and I don't want to get seasick, and I want to kind of get out of my C to G rut. That's right. A. That's exciting. It's so exciting, I'm going to do a bunch of them. Why not? Let's keep doing A's. More A's. Hey, we love it. All right, so now we've got our really dramatic third phrase. I'll play the whole thing. I play these a lot just to kind of see how they feel. Ah! I knew I was going to do that. All right, so up to G, back down, dum, bum, bum, little weaker cadence here, going up, back down, and to C. And then A, G, A, G. And then what we should do is repeat that second phrase. And go. That's what happens when you toggle grace notes. There we go. So hey, how about that? Here's our first minuet we've written today. I feel like we need a left-hand part. You know, I feel like, when people do harmony, they talk too much about chords and that kind of thing. I always preferred thinking about intervals. I'm kind of a counterpoint nerd at heart. And let's take a page out of Reinigel's book. If you remember those minuets that I played earlier, all the left-hand stuff was just dotted half notes. So I think that works great. C is always a good place to start. C's good. When we harmonize a D, we'll go with a fifth, and then we'll go back up. We should do that. When we get into our super dramatic A's, we'll dip all the way down to F, and then, yeah. And I think that gives us a decent bass line for our minuet. Let's see what it sounds like. And then here comes our dramatic third phrase. Hey, there's minuet number 1. You know what that means it's time for? Minuet number 2. What about minuet number 2? I'm going to do the same thing because I think it's just kind of fun to explore these kinds of ideas. Let's see. I'm going to pick a different rhythm though. So I think my different rhythm... Ooh, let's do this. Let's steal. So I assume everybody knows the Petzold minuet. So genius. It's just a quarter, 4/8 notes, and 3/4 notes, and all you need is 2 measures, and everybody like instantly knows what you're doing. All right, so our rhythm is going to be quarter, 8/8, 8/8, quarter, quarter, quarter. Well, I can't. If I start there. Bum, bum. How about that? There's a beginning. I was going to do this, but I think that's like by Turk. Anyway, there's another piece that goes like that, and I didn't want to copy them. I'm sure somebody wrote something like this, but I don't know what it is. Feels natural just to repeat that. We kind of have our little built-in weaker cadence there. What if we did the same thing? I love this idea in music. There's so many pieces that do this. They'll like do something, and then they'll do it again, and then they'll do it a third time, but the third time kind of goes on, or it's like longer, or something is extended. And so I always like that idea. And then again. And then maybe I'll do this. That seems like a pretty natural way to do it. I should apologize. I'm like on this live stream, and of course, y'all can't, know what's going inside my head. But the calculation in there for a second was I was thinking about, and in just my head. Anyway, I just kind of like felt my way through a bunch of these different ones. And then, again, if we were going to kind of follow how these work, there'd be a repeat of that. And let's do this. Let's have a contrasting phrase and then maybe go... Ooh, I know what we'll do. Remember that the Mozart Minuet where it had this third line that went... And he kind of did the dramatic thing with like the left hand go drum, drum, with like the little drum beats down there. What if we did that? So I'm going to steal Mozart's idea. And I'm going to go... What if I did bum, 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 bum. Quarter notes, please. Not that one. Ba-da-ding, bum, be-da-ding, bum. And then we'll do it a third time because it gets really dramatic. Bum, bum, bum. And then the most dramatic thing we can do is play a G. And then we have the back to the bum. Ding. And then ooh, check it. If I do like I did last time, it doesn't work because the piece doesn't end. We'll fix that in a second. All right. And of course, I want to steal from Mozart. Ooh, let's do that. So what if I did boom? There. That's like super exciting, right? And Mozart won't mind because he's dead. All right. And then we have this problem of like at the end, we definitely can't end a minuet in C on a D. So again, this is another one of those things where I need to get to C. So what if I did it that way? Bum, 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 bum. So there's a way to do it. Ooh, and you know what I love about this? And this is like the composer nerd in me. So these three notes that I ended up, and I didn't even do this on purpose, but I love that it happened. So these three notes are like these three notes, but in the opposite direction. So I like that. It kind of gives us a neat balance using some of the material here for some of the material here. It's one of those things artists always talk about, like cohesion. How do you make something cohesive? How do we make this sound like it belongs? And anyway, I seem to have accomplished it by accident today, but I'm totally good with it, because why not? Let's do this. I guess we need a left-hand part. Hey, let's be boring again. Let's go. Ooh. I need dotted notes. Is that dotted? There we go. Bum ba da 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 ding bum 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 ba da 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 ding 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 dun da 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 ding dun dun dee dee ding bum ba. Hey, check it. And then if we did this one, dun ba da 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 ding dun dun da da dum bum ba, something like that. So I like that a lot, actually. Rum ba da 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 dee dun 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 da 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 dee. Yeah, let's play it. So. And then we'd repeat. We'll make it a binary form. And then back. All right, there's minuet number 2. All right, half an hour, 2 minuets. Let's write another one. Why not? Let's stay in C. Let's use, I don't know, a rhythm. Hey, this is one of those things where like we can go back and like get the cards out and like play around with it a little bit, which I always think is kind of a fun thing to do. So like again, let's sort of build rhythms down here. So let's see, quarter, quarter. I got quarter notes, I got eighth notes, I got half notes. What if we did this? This is a rhythm that's different than any of the things that I was looking at earlier. And to be honest, it doesn't really seem that much in the style of a classical minuet. It has more of a snap to it, right? More of a, I don't know, kind of almost a Polonaise-y kind of feel. But anyway, what if we did that? Ooh, and let's do this. Okay, so like I said, I love these like what if questions. What if we built phrases out of that and that backwards? So eighth, eighth, quarter, 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 eighth, eighth. I have no idea. Let's try it. Eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter. I need something catchy that's eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter. That's a way to do it. That's a way to do it. Ooh, that's a spicy way to do it. Ooh, that's kind of, I hate that one. That seems like a cop-out. Anyway, it's a little too much like the Petzl minuet. Sorry, where was I? Ooh, what if we didn't start on C? We don't have to start on C. Is there a rule that says we have to start on C? Ooh. Ooh, okay, now I've got an idea. So what if we did bum, 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 bum. And then I've been doing a lot of repetition, but what if we, and again, this question, what if, that I always love. Ba-da-dum-bum. What if we change that a little bit? So I'm going to do a different rhythm. I'm going to do that rhythm backwards. Ba-ba-bum, bum, bum, bum. And then if I repeat these rhythms, don't do that. Ya-da-dum-bum. And then of course, it's very natural to end a phrase like that. I think that's kind of a catchy. Ooh, I could do that, right? Instead of just, because I want to get back to a C, or do I want to get back to a C? I don't know. See, this is where it gets fun and frustrating, because then you want to do something interesting that's not too wacky. Ooh, what if we did this? Sorry, I'm getting like really... Okay, what if I went bum, 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 bum? Ooh, what if we got all minor on it? And then what? I got to do eighth notes. And then... Oops. Sorry. Yes. Okay, good. And then we end up with a G. Oh, okay. I like this. This one's catchy. I'm excited about this one. And then... I don't know. I'm not totally in love with this bit in here. Or sorry, actually this bit. Because... Bum, bum, bum. And then... Bum, bum, beat. What if we did the same direction? I like that more. I don't know if y'all like that more, but I like that more, and it's my show. Okay, you can write the other kind. All right. Ba-da-dum, bum, bum, bum. bum, yada doo doo doo, bing, bing. We've gone so low. We are so low on that G. And let's give ourselves permission to change our rhythm. I need to get back up, don't I? Bum, 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 bum. Can I do that? Is that okay? I think I like it. All right, so I went doo 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 bum 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 doo 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 dum bum. I like it, and then in my mind it's like, I don't know, it's got a harmony behind it. And then I'm so low I gotta find a way to climb back up. And then I have to find a way. Well, that's kind of a natural way to do that, isn't it? What if we did that? Bum, 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 bum. And then what was it? Bum, bum, bing, 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 bing. Bum, ah, bum. Yay! Okay, so that'll be our ending. Yada dum, bum, 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 yada do 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 do. Do we like that? I don't know. It's good enough. All right, so now let's see if I had to come up with some kind of, oh my gosh. Steven said her shift to flat 6 momentary. Flat 6? That starts to sound, you know, like something from Zelda. Anyway, ba-da-dum, bum. Ooh, let's make a more active left-hand part. So what if we did ba-da-dum, bum. I have no idea if this is going to work. Like I said, I'm a big counterpoint nerd. So I'm basically thinking that's a 10th on the downbeats. 10th, 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 5th. Oh, parallel fifths. People would be so upset with me. I'd fix it if I just keep the same pattern, right? So if we went bum, 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 then we don't have parallel fifths anymore. Not that I want to be too pedantic about all this. I don't know, this I'm not mad about this. I like the end of it. I hate that. Ooh, what about that? Okay. Sorry, I'm making all kinds of wild executive decisions in my head. Bum, bum. And then if a better way to get up to the F might be to just go up a scale. What about that? Okay, so here's what, okay, let me, all right. A window into my mind. I like this, but when I sing it to myself in my head, it would then have to go. Anyway, it would be stupid. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna do probably what I should have done in the first place and just do this there instead. So it's just a direct transposition, right? So I got fancy and kind of changed the notes, but now it's like literally the same thing, a third down. Is that right? It's literally the same thing, a third down. Yeah, which means we could probably do this, literally the same thing, a third down, except I'm going to take it an octave up. or maybe an octave down. Or do you like it an octave up? No, that's kind of stupid. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't like jumping from this G here all the way down to this A here. So I'm going to be clever. I'm going to do that. Because now I get the best of worlds. Now it goes from the G just a step down to the A, and then I still get down here for this dramatic moment. And I think what I want to do is, you know, if this were a longer piece, I think going here would be fine. And then you could write like an extended section in A minor. Because it's only a 16-bar piece, I think we need to get back to the dominant. I think we need to get back to G here. Ooh, what if we did that? Huh. Uh-oh, people are chatting. Plays Zelda. I've got the book somewhere, but like seriously, like it's been like 35 years since I played Legend of Zelda. I'm also like the only person that's never played Ocarina of Time. I did the original and then that was it. All right, sorry. I'm having this internal struggle on whether to go to change the harmony on each of those, which is kind of how I wrote the melody, because I wrote a G major scale, C major scale, F. I'm not going to call it Lydian, I'm just going to say a C major scale that starts on an F. But I could just do a bunch of G stuff, right? Ooh, I like that. That seems more dramatic. And you know, like 18th century dramatic, like not. Dum, bum, 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 bum. Okay, there we go. What about that? And then I can do this, I can steal from myself and just do these G's. Like that. And then what did I do here earlier? Copy that to the end. And of course it doesn't work because my first phrase ended. Okay, so. Well, that isn't gonna work. I need to find a way to end back on the tonic. So I know I have to end bum, ba, 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 bum, on a C. Bum, bum, yum, bum, ding, 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 ding. All right, so like, you know, the obvious way to do it is this. But when I listen to that, oh, see, well, here's the thing. It's like people talk about, you know, like being pedantic and with theory and parallel fifths and direct octaves, which this is, you know, all of that in a row. It's like all the things you're not supposed to do in college undergraduate theory too. But I think, you know, sometimes these rules are kind of for a reason, and I think in this case, it sounds kind of plain and stark or empty or something. But if I did that, so here's an option. Let's entertain this. What instead of, it's always problematic when you have lots of things going the same direction. So if I turn this around, I can do that. I actually briefly considered this, which might be totally fine, but for some reason the two F's in a row sound a little So whatever. All right. I don't know, is this technically like direct octaves? I don't know. Maybe it is, but it doesn't sound bad to me. That's like the other option, right? Like you could also go bum bum, move, no. And then take this one like down to a B and play. But at the end of the piece, like having your dominant in an inversion, that's just weak sauce. That's no good. That's not good enough for us. So we're gonna do beam bum. We're gonna leave it like that. Maybe this is a violation of pedantic theory rules, but it doesn't sound that bad to me. I don't know. Maybe? Oh, Christopher Oil saying FDGC. Oh, yeah, that's what I ended up. Hey, great minds think alike. All right. So let's see. All right, so let's go back. Wouldn't that be fun? Instead of this, we could do, yeah, we can just march up to the end, right? Isn't that cute? Give the left hand a little something to do. Cute. All right. Let's call that one done. Oh, apparently I made 4 of these. All right, we'll do one more before we go. I told myself I was going to do this in an hour, and I've got 13 minutes. So one more minuet, and let's do a weird one just for fun. Let's do something wild. Okay, let's try this. One of the minuets from the Bach first partita is like nothing but eighth notes. So what if we did like nothing but eighth notes? Ooh, what if we made something really interesting out of something not interesting at all? A C major scale that goes up and down. There we go. Hey, what about that? Again, it's my favorite composition question. What if I wrote a minuet based on a C major scale going up and down? What if? So a scale that goes way up high and comes down, and then a scale that goes way down low. And so basically I've gone from C, I love this, I've gone from C up a step to D, and then back down to C. Isn't that like the least interesting shape in the world? Oh yeah, Richard said Prokofiev-like. He does this all over the place in like the third concerto, doesn't he? If it's good enough for Prokofiev, it's good enough for us. Let's see. Somebody, Steve, I think, was talking about flat 6 earlier. So let's go full Prokofiev. Prokofiev would do this, right? He would go like, oops, no, he would not do that. He would do this, and then he would go, ah, and then that. Thanks for the Prokofiev suggestion. Did I make it sound Prokofiev-y enough? And then sorry, Prokofiev would do this. And then Prokofiev would do that. All right, what would Prokofiev do in the left hand? I so don't know. I feel like, okay, so this is like one of those places where you just have to like mess around and improvise a little bit. Okay, I was trying to get fancy with the rhythm, but let's keep it in 3. Ooh, what did I do? I like that. Okay, so I'm doing tenths. I'm gonna break my rule. I told myself I wasn't gonna use any rests today, but you can't write Prokofiev without rests, so. And then a rest. Okay, I'm just going to write something. I have no idea if that's going to work. I just remember there's, and again, when you were talking about like third Prokofiev concerto, isn't there that moment where it's like bum bum, and anyway, the right hand has like really quick 16ths, and then the left hand does like thirds coming down. So anyway, I just wrote a bunch of thirds because I'm curious. Oh, that's okay. So this sounds pretty cool, right? This little. Sorry, that's a little. Okay, that was a little wild. So. Okay, so when Prokofiev writes cadences, a lot of times he likes to just do stuff like by half steps. So you'll get like, what is like fourth sonata or something. I don't know, something like that. I'm desperately trying to get this to be a D flat. Because if that's a D flat, then we turn this around. Oh, there's something there. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one. I think I'm just going to turn this into an E flat. Because again, I've only got 4 minutes left. Oh my gosh. So if I only have 4 minutes left, I've still got a third phrase and a way to end it. Okay, so then let's see. Sorry, yum bum. I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna stick with the same kind of accompaniment. We're gonna go bump bump, take it down, bump bump. A great little bit of compositional advice. Whenever something is going up, you need something else to go down to balance it with. So since I'm looking at all of these scales in the right hand coming up, I figured something simpler, but going down is better. Why not? Let's steal from ourselves. What are we going to do here? Anybody know? I don't know. That's a very Prokofiev ending, isn't it? So let's do that. And then I kept this pattern coming up. And then let's see if we go E, G. And then what did I do? I went... All right, sort of a classic little minuet ending, and then people probably heard that I was doing that there. Is it weird to like write a sparse texture and then do 2 triads at the end? You know what? It's better if we just keep it to 6ths. Because if we just keep it to 6ths, then it doesn't like suddenly jump out at us as being big fat chords. All right, so here's our Prokofiev minuet. And then what did I do? I went... It's not the most amazing piece in the world, but it's not bad. Richard wants obnoxious bass notes, grace notes in the bass. You know, if I really knew how to write grace notes, and sorry, I'm like new to this software. Is that how you do it? That's how you do it. Sorry, we're going to do obnoxious grace notes for Richard before we go. There we go. So now you can have... I'll throw grace notes on the end too. Anyway, something like that. Who even knows? That takes us to noon. Hey everybody. itself.